Good morning, everyone. I'm Zhiguo Wan, the first author of this paper. In this talk, I'm going to present electronic contract signing protocol without using trusted third party. This work is a collaboration with Professor Robert Deng and David Lee from Singapore Management University. This is the agenda of this talk. It is divided into 5 parts. I will begin with the first part, introduction. Contract signing is a frequent activity in our daily life. In our life, we have to sign a lot of contracts. When we sign these contracts, we want to achieve fairness, which is very important. Although it is very easy to achieve fairness for physically signed contracts, it is very difficult for electronic contracts. To deal with this problem, there have been many protocols proposed in the literature. However, none of them have gained widespread adoption. The main reason is that they either need a specialized trusted third party, or they have very high computation and communication cost. For example, the scheme proposed by Goldrick. Electronic contract signing protocols can be categorized into 3 groups: TTP-free protocols, online TTP protocols, and offline TTP protocols. TTP-free protocols does not need any trusted third party, but they have very high computation and communication cost, so they cannot be used in any real applications. On the contrary, online TTP protocols are much simpler and more efficient, but they require a specialized trusted third party to be online all the time. So this TTP might become the bottleneck of the whole system. Offline TTP protocols still need a TTP, but this TTP is not required to be online all the time. This TTP is required only in case of problems. Now I'm going to describe the details of our protocol. Here is the system model of our protocol. It involves 3 different entities: a trusted PKI, which issues certificates to contract signers; a timestamping server, which is not a trusted third party, but it provides a trustworthy timestamping service; and 2 contract signers. All these entities are connected via networks. We assume that the PKI is trusted, while the timestamping server provides trustworthy timestamping service. The adversary could be a contract signer or just an outsider. It is assumed that the adversary has only limited computation capability, so it cannot break the signature algorithm used in our scheme. The adversary has full control of the communication channel, so it is capable of message eavesdropping, modification, forgery, replaying, etc. The detail of our protocol. Before the protocol runs, signer A and signer B should have agreed on a contract C. In the first step, signer A would send the following message to signer B. This message contains 4 items. The first item is a hash of the contract. This is to protect the contract privacy. The second item, TD, is a deadline for the contract. Before the deadline, signer B should sign the contract, otherwise this contract would be invalid. Sig A is a signature calculated over hash of contract TD, A and B's identity. The last item is A's certificate. Next, when signer B receives the message from signer A, signer B would check the contract C and the signature from A. If both checks are successful, then signer B would send the following message to the timestamping server TS. This message contains 6 items. The first 4 items are copied from A, and the 5th item is SKBI, which is a signature generated by B over hash of the contract, the deadline of the contract, A and B's identity and the signature of A. When the timestamping server TS receives the message from signer B, TS would check the signatures of A and B. If the checks are successful, then TS would send the following message to A and B. This message contains two items. The first item is a signed contract, and the second item is a timestamp over the signed contract. The signed contract is as follows. It contains a hash of the contract, a deadline, A and B's identity, A and B's signatures, and A and B's certificates. Next, I'm going to explain what is the timestamp, how the timestamp a contract. We organize all signed contracts, CTI, into a macro tree. Each leaf node on the macro tree obtains value from the contract. For example, this node, its value is equal to the hash of CT3. Since this is a macro tree, if we know H34, we can calculate H22. Then, if we know H21, we can calculate H11 by hash. Then if we are given H12, we can calculate H01. H01 is the root of the macro tree. It is also called the macro root. The macro root contains information about all the signed contracts on the macro tree. So we can timestamp the macro root. In order to timestamp the CT3, we need to include the values in the blue circles, so that the signer of CT3 can be sure that the CT3 is used to calculate the macro root. So this is the timestamp of the CT3. It includes the macro root, the values in the blue circles, a timestamp Ti. And then I will explain what are HI-1 and HI. Then the timestamping service can be implemented in two ways. In the first way, we calculate a hash chain from the macro root and then use an alterable medium, for example newspaper, to publish the hash chain. So this is how the hash chain is calculated. We divide the time into fixed intervals. In each interval, there will be a set of contracts that want to be timestamped. From this contract, we calculate a macro root, and then the hash chain value is calculated as follows. HI is equal to the hash of a previous hash value and the current timestamp Ti and the macro root. And this, by doing this, there will be a hash chain. And we can see that since the hash value is published on newspaper, no one can change it, and each signer can verify that his contract is used to calculate the macro root, and the macro root is timestamped with a hash chain, so he can be sure that his contract is correctly timestamped. We also use Bitcoin blockchain to publish hash values. Bitcoin is the most successful cryptocurrency, and it is based on the Bitcoin technology. The Bitcoin blockchain is essentially a hash chain, and each block is generated in about 10 minutes. Since Bitcoin is already so successful, it has proved that the blockchain is a trustworthy public ledger. So we can use the blockchain as an unalterable medium to publish the hash values. So the hash values can be published on the blockchain in a similar way. Now let's see how can we verify a timestamp. The timestamping server should publish every tuple the hash chain value hi, timestamp ti, and the macro root I. Suppose the latest hash chain value is hi plus k, and it is published on a newspaper or blockchain. Then one needs to verify that his signed contract is indeed compressed into the macro root. For example, for CT3, its timestamp is as follows. Then we can verify that CT3 is indeed compressed into the macro root by the following calculation. First, we calculate H33 by hash of CT3. Then with H33 and H34, we can calculate H22. And H22 and H21, we can calculate H11. With H11 and H12, we can calculate a macro root. Then we can verify that whether or not this calculated root is equal to H01. One needs to verify that the hash chain values are correctly formed. One needs to verify that each hash value is calculated from its previous hash value and the timestamp, as well as a corresponding macro root. For example, hi should be the hash of its previous hash value, hi minus 1, and ti and root I. If one can verify that all these equations can hold, and remember that hi plus k is published on the newspaper or the blockchain, so the signer can be assured that his contract has been correctly timestamped. If there is any dispute between the signers, then a judge can be used to verify the contract. And the judge first to verify the contract is correct, and then the two signatures are valid signatures from A and B. If all equations hold, then the judge can see that the contract is valid. Here we give a simple analysis and a discussion about our protocol. Since our protocol is very simple in design, it is easy to see that even if signer A or signer B is dishonest, our protocol can still achieve fairness for the other party. For timestamping, since we use newspaper or blockchain to publish hash chain values, so the timestamps are still trustworthy even if the server is not trusted. In our protocol, we never expose the contract itself. We only give out the hash of contract. So the contract privacy is well protected. With regard to the performance, we can say that the signer A needs to generate a signature, while the signer B needs to verify a signature and generate a signature. For the timestamping server, it has to verify two signatures from signer A and signer B. So if there are n requests, then the complexity of the timestamping server is in the order of n. So in conclusion, we have proposed a practical electronic contract signing protocol. This protocol is simple and scalable for real-world applications. And our protocol removes the trusted third party. What we need is just a timestamping server which can provide trustworthy timestamps. This protocol guarantees fairness for contract signers. We have shown that our protocol is secure and efficient in computation and communication. For this talk, if you have any question, please send your query to the following email address. Thank you for your attention.